it's your boy Osas. Let's get back to building our WhatsApp clone series. In our last episode, we focused on building out the bubble text view component, which is this bad boy right now in the simulator, and we've made a ton of progress on the project overall. And this episode, we're going to be focusing on building out the bubble image view, which is this component that I'm currently highlighting right here. So it's going to be a lot of fun because this component is going to be a little bit more dynamic than the bubble text view, because not only is it going to be responsible for building or for displaying photo messages, but it will also be responsible for showing video messages as well. So it's going to be quite a bit of fun. Now let's get right to writing some code. So right off where we left off last episode, we built out this bubble text view component. Let's start making some changes to our project. The first thing I would like for us to do is perhaps change the corner radius of this bubble text view component from 10 to 16, just because I think that looks slightly better. And maybe change the opacity to 0.4 in the preview just so we could see things better. Yes, that looks so much more better. So as you guys can see, 16 corner radius just looks a little bit more nicer and crispier. Now in today's episode, let's jump to our message item, which is our data model that we're using to power our messages. One thing I would like for us to add to this is what we're going to call a message type. So we're going to create a type property here called message type. So this doesn't exist yet. Xcode is going to yell at us, but let's go right below here and create a message type enum. So what's a message type? If you think about it, we want to be able to send text messages. So we're going to have a message of type text. We want to be able to send video messages or photo messages. So we're going to have photo. We want to be able to send video messages as well. So we're going to have video. And eventually we're going to add audio and admin messages as well. But right now, I think we should leave it at that. So this is going to yell at us. Let us fix that. We're going to have the type to be text. And we're going to change the receive placeholder static property, add a type to it as well, text. Okay, the next thing I would like for us to do is create a stub data for this message item. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a static property called stub messages, and it's just going to be an array of message item. Okay, so the first thing, let's create, I don't know, text, hi there, type, let's make it text. Direction is, let's make it sent from us. Let's create another one. We're going to copy and paste it. Let's say, check out this photo, and the type is going to be photo. And let's say that was received. Let's add another, let's copy that again, paste it. Let's say, play this video. The type is going to be video. And let's say that's sent from us again. Okay. That seems pretty good to me. And honestly, I'm just going to change, I'm going to remove this init and replace it with a message item, and message item, so you can stop yelling at us. What are we missing here? Oh yeah, we need to put some commas in our stub data. So now we have a stub data that we could use inside of our messages list controller. So the next thing I would like for us to do is to jump to our messages list controller. Now, if you go down to our data source, right here where it says number of rows in section, we're currently putting a, just a fixed number of 20. Right now, we're just going to do message item dot stub messages dot count. Okay. The next thing I would like for us to do is, so now we have 3 messages, and we're going to come back and fix some of this. But the next thing I would like for us to do is to say, right inside of the cell for row, let's create an actual message. So we're going to say, let's message is equals to, again, message item, stub messages. And now we're going to access each individual element. So we're going to say index path dot row. Okay. So there we go. And then instead of putting bubble text view sent placeholder, we're going to change that to message. So let's see what happens. Okay. So we're making some good progress here. The next thing I would like for us to do is to be able to switch our messages based on the type of messages. Well, to show different components based on the message type. So right now it's only showing bubble text view. Eventually we want to be able to show bubble image view as well. So the way to approach that is I'm going to take cuts and I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to do switch message dot type. Okay. Wait for Xcode to do its completion. No, that's not what we want. Okay, let's just start typing this out. So we're going to say case the text. We want it to show message bubble text view, case dot video or dot photo. Then we're going to show bubble image view. Let's pass in an item, and then we're going to pass in this message. So this is going to yell at us because bubble image view is a component that does not currently exist. So I'm going to copy this name. I'm going to open the left panel, and I'm going to go create the bubble image view component. So create a new file inside of our chat folder, SwiftUI view, bubble image view, create, and then I am going to create an item. I'm gonna ask for an item as a parameter of this bubble image view. So this is gonna complain, and let's just put the sent placeholder right there. Let's wait for our Xcode preview to do its thing. and it's doing its thing. For now, I'm just going to say text is item.text. Okay. So if we go back, for example, into our message list controller now, wait for our Xcode preview to load up, you can see we're having different bubble types now. In this one, when it's a text, it shows bubble text view. When it's a video or photo, it shows BubbleImageView. Now let's go build our BubbleImageView component. All right. So again, if we exit out of Xcode, what we're trying to build here looks like a pretty simple H stack. Well, on the left side, on the leading side, we have a share button, and then of course we have the actual BubbleImageView with potentially the text that accompanies the photo or video message. So let's get started with writing some code. I'm going to remove this text component. I'm going to create an H stack. Okay. And let's see here. So we have an H stack. What we really want is we want to be able to add a spacer. So right here, we have a spacer, if you really think about it, that's pushing the image to the extreme end when it's sent from us. It's pushing it to the trailing, and it's pushing it to the leading when it's a message that's an incoming message. It's sort of similar to the logic that we did in the bubble text view. So what we're going to do this time around is we're going to say if message, well, I keep saying message, if item dot type, the direction, sorry. If item dot direction is sent, then I'm going to throw a spacer in here, okay? I'm going to copy this piece of logic. I'm going to paste it right here, and I'm going to change it to if it's received, show a spacer. And just hang in there. You see what I'm trying to do in a bit. So you can think of it as we have a overall H stack, which is the actual parent container. And inside of that H stack, there's another H stack. But this allows us to be able to add spacer on the extreme ends of the overall component. And that's what gives it that leading and trailing alignments. So the next thing I'm going to do is another H stack. And this H stack, this time around, I'm going to say if item, the direction is equals to sent. So I want to be able to show a share button here. I'm going to say share button. I'm going to copy that again. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to paste it. It's going to yell at us because share button does not exist yet. And what I'm trying to create is the share button right here, this guy. All right. So let's come down here and create a share button component. Func share button some view. Okay. What do we need for a share button? Give me a second here, guys. So we just need a button with a label. Okay. And what's the label? It's just a system image. So system name and Command Shift and L. Let's look up what we need. I think it's arrow shape dot turn dot up dot right dot fill. I think that's what we're looking for. Okay, let's do this. Arrow shape dot turn dot up dot right dot fill. Okay, we can see it right there. All right, so we have our two share buttons. The next thing I would like for us to do is add a pattern to this. Make the foreground style white. Make the background color, I don't know, color the gray. Sounds like a nice color. Okay, what else? Maybe the background color, make it like a thin material. And we need to clip it. So we need to add a clip shape of circle. All righty. We are making some good progress here. All right, so now we're going to come inside of this H stack, and this is where we're going to actually build our BubbleImageView. So the first thing I'm going to do is I would just like to create some sort of a component, like some sort of a VStack that houses both the text view and the image. So what I mean is I need a VStack right here, one for the just one VStack. We have an image, and then we have a text component right underneath it. So I'm going to come right down here, and I'm going to create a function called, I don't know, message text view. Sounds like a good name. And it's going to be a VStack with an alignment of leading, yeah. And maybe make the spacing 0. Okay, so we have our VStack. The next thing we need is we need an image. Okay. We'll come back to this. Let's put like a system name here. Let's just do photo.fill for now. We need an image. We need the image to be resizable. We need it to be scaled to fill. We need to give it a frame of like, let's see, width of like 220 and height of like 180. We're going to come back to the frame of this specific images because the idea is we want each photo, each BubbleImageView component's height to be dynamic, meaning it's going to be based on the size of the actual image or the size of the video's thumbnail. And you see what I mean in later episodes. But for now, let's just add something like this, like a static frame, and let's add a clip shape. So clip shape, what I want as usual is a rounded rectangle. So I'm going to say rounded rectangle with a corner radius of, I don't know, 10, style, continuous. Okay, let's put our message text view here, by the way, because it's going to be right in here. Okay, so it's starting to come together. Oh, I forgot something. So right here, You see right in this right here, this highlighted code. Let's change this to received, not sent. So that's received. Okay, there we go. Boom. And if we, for example, change this to received placeholder, you can see the difference. It's aligned to the leading now instead of the trailing. All right, let's continue on with this. So we have our image, we have a clip shape. The next thing I would like to add is a background. So I'll do background. I'll do rounded rectangle again. Let me just copy this, paste it. Rounded rectangle with a corner radius of 10. But this time around, I'm going to fill it with color, I don't know, the system gray. What's a good color? System gray 2? No, system gray 5. Sounds better. You can start to see it coming together. There's a little more work to be done. So we have a background. And then let's put a padding of 5. Okay, what else? And I would like to add an overlay to this. So overlay, and the overlay is going to be another rounded rectangle. But I'm trying to think of the best way to sort of, do we want to create a function for this, or do we want to just, yeah, let's just do on the rounded rectangle. So I'm going to copy this, rounded rectangle of 10. I'm going to paste it right there. And I'm going to add a feel to it. Do we have a feel? Or do we want a stroke around it to give it? Yes, we want a stroke. So I'm going to say stroke. And the color is going to be System Gray 5. I don't know. I like System Gray 5 a lot. It's just a very nice subtle color. System Gray 5. Okay. That is coming together. We're making some good progress here. Just hang on. All right. So the overlay, the pattern, and now I want us to add a timestamp. So for example, if you come down here, you can see a timestamp right here for the actual Bubble image view. And the way I'm going to do that is, honestly, I'm just going to create another function, and that's going to represent the timestamp components. I'm going to call it timestamp, I don't know, text, view. It's going to be of some view. And this is going to be an HStack. And the reason I'm making it an HStack is because you can see there's that check icon right there when it's a message that's sent by the currently logged in user. So we're going to do the text to represent the time. So let's say, I don't know, 11:13 a.m. 11:13 a.m. What do we need? Let's change the fonts. System font size 12, perhaps. Okay, that looks good. And now we're going to say if item that direction is sent, meaning if it's a message that's sent by us, we're going to add the same image, and we're going to make it resizable. We're going to change the rendering mode to template, and we're going to change the frame to 15. Okay. All right. Now let's change this from received to sent placeholder again, just so we see what we're working with. Oh yeah, we need to overlay. The reason the timestamp is not showing off is because we need to overlay this timestamp on top of our image. So we're going to come here. We're going to do another overlay. But this time around, the overlay is going to have an alignment. So we're going to do alignment is going to be bottom trailing, because as you can see, it's on the bottom trailing. So we're going to do bottom trailing alignments, and we're going to pass in our timestamp text view. Okay, that's making some great progress, right? Maybe change this to scale to fill instead of scale to fit. Scale to fill, resizable, frame, background, leave it at scale to fit. We'll come back and fix a lot of this pattern issues right now. Just follow along with me. All right, so the next thing I want to add now is the text component. So now I'm going to put a text here, and I'm going to say text is going to be equals to text. Well, it's going to be equals to item.text. And, I'm going to put like a pattern of, I want to put like a vertical and horizontal, no, horizontal and bottom pattern. So bottom, I'm going to make that 8. I don't want too much pattern, just enough. And then we're going to add a frame, which is going to be of max width, and that's going to be infinity. And the alignment is going to be leading. Okay, and we're also going to add another frame, which is going to be the frame right here that we have right here. Paste that right there. Okay, so we have pattern, horizontal. We have max frame with leading. And no, we don't need to add a height. Sorry about that. We just need a frame. We just need a width. Okay, that is some good progress. The next thing I would like for us to do is to style the VStack itself, meaning this message text view, which is the VStack. We're going to go under, and we're going to change the background color. So we're going to say background is equals to item.background color. We're going to change the clip shape. The clip shape is going to be another rounded rectangle, corner radius of, I don't know, 10, like we've been using. Continuous of, well, style is continuous. And now we're almost done, as you can see right here. Now I'm going to do apply tail. If you remember in the last episode, I think it was the last episode, we built out this apply tail modifier that gives us that nice little fin at the bottom leading or bottom trailing of our messages. So I'm going to do apply tail, and I'm going to do item.direction. That's the parameter that it's looking for. And if you can see this now, we have something good going on. I'm going to jump into our bubble text view component, and I'm going to look at how we are using the preview. I'm going to copy this preview code. I'm going to go back to our bubble image view, right? I'm going to paste it right underneath here. And I'm going to replace this with bubble image view, right? Do some received so we can see what we're working with. Okay, as you can see, I'm going to throw a pattern horizontal here. And the reason I'm not adding a pattern horizontal, the reason I'm not adding a pattern horizontal to the actual images in here is because we're going to be inside of a table view. There's already going to be some horizontal pattern, so it's going to work out in the end. Okay, so we have, this looks almost close to what we have in mind. It's resizable, scale to fit. What are we missing? We have a frame, we have a clip shape, we have a background, we're overlaying some roundness to it. We had a pattern, we had an overlay for the timestamp, and we have our messages. Okay. So the next thing I would like for us to do is to add some shadow. Again, if we go into the bubble text view, we added a shadow component right here, a shadow modifier. I'm just going to copy that value, go back to our bubble image view, and I'm going to apply that on this message text view. I want just a subtle little shadow, not too much, just a little bit. And now the next thing I'm going to want to do is overlay a play button. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, this component is going to be responsible for showing both the photo messages and video messages. And so the way we're going to do that is to overlay a play button here. So we're going to create a play button. And you already know what we're going to do. We are going to create another function. Play button, some view. And what is play button? Well, let's think here. It's just a button, but we just need it to have certain alignments. Actually, we don't even want it to be a button. Let's just make it an image component. So we're going to do system image, let's play.fill. And I'll explain why I'm not making it a button in a second. Pattern, image scale, let's make it large. Let's give it a foreground style of gray. And make the background, I don't know, thin material, kind of like we did with the share button. And let's give it a clip shape of circle. Okay, so we have our play button. That looks pretty good. Now, the reason I'm not making this a button, a clickable element, is because I have the intention in later episodes to make the entire component itself clickable. So if you click on this, if you click on this, if you click on this area, it should just play the video if it's a photo message. Now, that's for later episodes. And so for now, this sort of gets the job done. What we'd like to be able to do, though, is to be able to hide this play button if it's not a video. So we're going to say opacity is equals to item.type. If it's of type video, right, we're going to show the opacity. If not, we're going to hide it, which makes sense because all of the placeholders that we have so far, they are of photo messages. They're not video messages. Okay, that looks pretty good. The only thing left now, in my opinion, is, let's see, what is this gray over here? Let me see. What's that gray? So if we have a VStack message, background color. Okay, if I remove the background color. Oh, we are using that. Okay, yeah. I'm going to change this to scale aspect fill. So this looks a little bit janky, and I just realized I need to change this from system image to our stub image. So if we go into our assets, we actually already have a stub image provided as part of the assets. If you go into the assets catalog and you go in the under the stub images, you would see a couple of images in there. So we're just going to go with stub image 0. The image resource, and that looks pretty good. This is coming along. Let's comment out this opacity thing for the play button and let's see how that looks like. That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. We are making great progress. So I'm going to comment that. And now I need to style the timestamp text view. So right now, this H stack is sort of looking janky, as you can tell. And so let's get started with adding some patterns to it. Change the background color. Again, you already know, system gray 5. I don't know, man. I have a relationship with those gray colors. All right, now we're going to add a clip shape to it. Let's make the clip shape capsule. Okay. And now let's throw up overall padding on everything. I don't know, something like 12. Is that good? I think that looks good. Okay, system gray 5 might be too much this time around, actually. Let's do something like 3. There we go. Look at that. That looks absolutely delightful. And we are pretty much done with this component right now. What we do need to do is take this bubble image view, right? Go inside of our, let me remove some of this spacing. Okay. Okay, we are making progress. So we're going to take this bubble image view. We're going to go inside of our message list controller, right? And, oh, we actually already did that. So the last thing I would like to do again is take this, go back to the bubble image view, take the preview. I'm just going to copy the preview code. I'm going to go back to the message list controller. And I'm going to swap that out. So I'm going to swap this out. I'm going to take this message list controller and I'm going to replace it with this message list controller, remove the other preview. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to remove this. And that looks much better. So we could preview what we're actually dealing with. As you can see, that looks a little bit more better. I'm going to remove this. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm going to go change something. So I'll remove this. I'll remove this. Sorry about that. Let's go to our table view background color. And let's change it from white to... So let's change our table view background color from white to something like UI color .gray. And we're going to do it with opacity with alpha placement of 0.4, just so we can see what we're dealing with. Okay, that looks so much better. And let's run our project on the simulator and get what the actual components look like. Again, in the next coming episode, we're going to be actually replacing these background colors with actual doodles or the actual background that matches what we have on the right side of the screen. For now, let's run our simulator. Let's go into a chat room, and it looks like that. So we're making progress. I would like for us to however change something really quickly inside of our chat room screen. If you notice the navigation bar is just a little bit finicky, or should I say, not looking the way we want it to look. So the solution to that is, let's go back to Xcode. Let's expand Xcode, and let's go inside of our chat room screen, and let us change our toolbar styling. So we're going to say our navigation display mode to inline. And the reason I'm doing that inside of the chat room screen is because our channel tab, which is this right here, this has a navigation display mode of like large title, as you can see. Well, we want it to be inline. We want it to look like this. And that looks so much more better now. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. We built out the BubbleImageView components. We added some more functionalities or some more properties to our message item data model. In the next episode, we're going to be building out the Bubble audio view components, which is going to be responsible for playing voice messages. And, we're making great progress. So I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.